Doug and then Dwight.
Yeah, I just want to correct a misstatement that I'm sure Jennifer inadvertently made about the city's general plan. There is no mandate in the city's general plan to implement a BRT system. Absolutely not. They were careful when they crafted the language. It says things like, consider light rail or bus rapid transit, add transit only or HOV only lanes where appropriate, things like that. The language is very clearly not specific to BRT. And I couldn't let that go because I've heard that so many times. I've heard pro-BRT people say, it's in the general plan, the city council's already approved it. That is nonsense. It's not true. So we should all be careful when we talk about this issue and recognize the city wants it to be considered, which is what we're doing. That's appropriate. But the city has not mandated or directed that we do so. Thank you.
We have Wyatt and then Alba.
My question relates to something I heard both of you say. You raised the point about how people, and I've heard this in the transportation study that's happening right now in West Berkeley, that people in Berkeley, generally speaking, tend to leave their cars at home during the week and use AC Transit or BART to get to work. But then on the weekends, they all come out in their cars, you know. And then your point about the flexibility that you're trying to work into the system to provide us the opportunities to shift and change over time as needed. The question that I have, or maybe it's just a concern I want to raise that I'd like to hear you address, is that if there was some way, that my concern is that with the capital improvements that are being considered, it doesn't allow, for instance, for a bus-only lane to be transformed from a bus-only lane on the weekday to allowing cars on the weekends, basically allowing for traffic to use those lanes when we're needing it the most. I'm wondering if it was considered, like for instance in the South Bay, during commute hours, they have these electric signs that say, you know, you can go this way now, but you can't go it between 3 and 6. I was wondering if that was considered.
Well, it's meant to be permanent infrastructure, and it's meant to be consistently enforced. So it does become a permanent fixture. So in a sense, for that permanence and that permanent benefit, it gives up flexibility. So you couldn't do that for the weekends. But actually, it's the peak hour, the afternoon peak hour is really the time when there is the most traffic overall. I think you encounter the traffic on the weekends because, well, you're going to shopping or something where there's a lot of activity. But the overall highest travel volumes are weekdays. So that's what we plan for, you know, when we do our studies. So it's really the PM peak hour. So the rush hour in the morning, this project has very little impact. And for the other 22 hours of a day, it has virtually no impact to traffic and parking demand. But during the afternoon, it definitely causes some congestion problems. In Berkeley, the congestion problems are actually, I don't know, easier to fix than some of those in East Oakland, which, for instance, require more radical, you know, extra right turn lanes, left turn lanes, and things